this should be an interesting one today. Uh, so if you don't know, this is my hub world, where I'm sort of using it to reinvent, almost, vanilla Minecraft. And for the last little bit here, I've been working on this system right here. And it's a random dungeon system. And I can't quite show it off like normal, because I think I'm actually ready to test it properly. So, hypothetically, if I throw out one of these eyes, so Jailer's Eyes, fabled creation of the rune carvers, used to open a connection to the abhorrent? To be honest, I just Google words that sound cool. Nexus, it should generate a random dungeon on top of the nether, and also give me access to it. Obviously, I've backed up my world, because I have no idea how it's going to go, and, well, it's probably going to take a few attempts. But, you know, here's hoping I got it right the first time. So click that. We can see that's lit up. However, nothing else is triggered. So, coincidentally, what it should do is it should trigger one of these. So execute at, which in fact it did, because we saw the particles from the eye. So we should have a score B set up. Let's just make sure that's working, so we can go down the list and sort of see where exactly it's not up to scratch. So we got B set up. We saw all the effects, we heard the sound, that's fine. We did not get this text, however. So it's execute at the eye, that's fine. Oops, no, that's the right one, that deletes the eye. Where's the text? Open dungeon timer. Should be this command block then. Right, no plays found. That's really good to see. I do need some way to clean this up though. So because I have no experience, it hasn't actually triggered, because the way the dungeon generation should work is depending on how many levels I do have, it will generate X amount of rooms. So if I have 1 level, for instance, I'm only going to generate 1 room. If I have 0, for instance, it hasn't generated anything. I need some sort of failsafe for that, so that's good to note. But if we go ahead and give us, I don't know, say 10 levels, because I do want to sort of test how much server load it puts. So we'll do 10 levels. Right, here's take 2. Oh, interesting. We got the Jailer's Cavern beckons. But there's an issue right there for starters. So that system up there has not triggered effectively. See how it's sort of cut off? It should almost load up like a bar and then delete, and that's 1 room building, so I do need to look at that, but we will just try this teleport, and we're inside a block, interestingly. 333. Okay, I know what's happened there. Game mode creative. So this first segment is triggered. It has built this bedrock wall, but it has not. Well, it should have triggered this, meaning we should have been in an empty box. We will click this again, and we'll just take a look in creative. Oh, interesting. There is walls, but actually this looks decent. We have a dungeon somewhat. It has not generated a ceiling, which is interesting. But for the most part, it has generated something. Okay, so this is probably how the video is going to go. I'm going to take a look at what happened and fix it, and then we'll try again. Okay, so reload the world, and this is take 2. So first off, the roof is a pretty simple fix. I have this running. So that was just for my testing purposes, so I could see inside. We will clear this one, since we don't want it generating the dungeon out here in the overworld. And we will actually, I should have probably left that, because it would have allowed me to make sure everything was generating, because it should generate the first room of the dungeon in that box. But yeah, we can go ahead and turn that off. That should fix the roof problem. The next problem was this not triggering. So scoreboard sets us to, right, what's this tag creator? I think I've done something different with that. In fact, I think I don't want that at all, tag creator. I think it should just be at all. I think that was a old concept, sort of a way to limit who causes the dungeon to generate. That way, if someone, logs out on a multiplayer world, the generation doesn't mess up. Anyway, so I got to jot all this stuff down too, so give me a sec so I can keep track of the changes, since I will reset the world each time. So I also don't want to leave the dungeon, obviously, already generated. I want someone to have to make it for themselves, although there should be a cleanup method. Obviously, I don't know if it works. We'll get to it. Right, and actually the other thing I needed to do was to change the teleport. Right, and actually the other thing I need to do was to change the teleport, because we were stuck inside a block. We'll just go ahead, give ourselves levels again. And the teleportation should be, I think it was on this first one. No, this one. No. No. I might have. No, there we go. Gotcha. So instead of 129, we sort of want to be midway. Or at least up. Ooh, I want to say 2 more blocks, so 31 maybe. And we should drop down a little. Okay. Right. Take 2. So game mood, survival. Although I have levels, so I can do it in creative anyway. Okay, so if I throw this, and I'm not in creative. Okay, so if I throw this, this should light up like a progress bar. A few times too. So for instance, that's one room. Ooh, and it's not generated a second room. That's interesting. But I lost 3 levels. Let's just check out the dungeon. The dungeon is bare bones. Curious. Right. Well, I, half expected this. A lot of stuff to go wrong. Okay, so I have to figure out well, there's some generation, but there's no rooms, which is kind of a bummer, because you obviously want rooms. I also lost all my experience when I teleported here. That's interesting as well. I do need to look at what chunks are loaded. So it's what? Force load, query. This chunk should be loaded. Yeah. So some of it's working. Okay, take 3. You know what's probably a good way to start it is for me to use the cleanup mechanism. So this should reset everything that the dungeon has to do with. So all the scoreboards and everything. I should just trigger this, and it should do this. Oh, actually, there's you again. Do you need to go? What's going on? Execute if entity time half, so it should be pulsing, which it is, which means that this should trigger. And then what's this? Arm stand, kill all items. If entity run air, then it should delete the arm stand. And then this one should run. In fact, this one does not need to be conditional. Right, but that got over that. Okay, so everything should be cleared up. It's good to see. I might need to fix that up, because it should almost be separate from those first 2 commands. Okay, let's try again. Experience. Add us. Do 10 like usual levels. And we'll toss out our little eye. We got the cavern. That's a bit better. We have a room. Oh, we have a few, it seems. Spawner, so that's good to see. I didn't turn off the roof, that's fine. But it did not generate any other structures. So the rooms themselves, that's just me. I need to tinker with the probability that rooms spawn. As for everything else, so I should have 10 levels. Game mode, survival. It's drained all my experience again. I need to take a look at that. Yeah, and then also game. Oh no, I need to look at a few different scoreboards. All right. Take 4. I'm gonna look at stuff and then hopefully I can sort of dissect what's going wrong. Okay, so the experience issue was nice and simple. This was running as a repeating. So I've changed to an impulse, so it should only trigger once. There's no good way for me to actually set it up to sort of, what's the word? Blacklist someone, because I can't add another score that's inverted, so with the exclamation mark. In fact, you can't use exclamation mark at all for scores. It's a bit annoying, because you can for almost everything else. And everything else is fixed. I'm going to make a copy of this since I've made changes I like, and, well, next try, I guess. Well, first problem was definitely a huge oversight by me. So you can see here it says add B hard 1. So the way I trigger each of the room generation is I start the scoreboard at 1. So that should trigger this. So you can see there it says scores equal B easy 1, and then it fills in this column slowly. The problem with that is I have it set to add, not to not to start it at 1. So for instance, if I should be able to do this a lot easier. If I were to show you guys scoreboard objectives, set display sidebar, let's do B easy. Actually, I haven't triggered it, so not the issue. Well, I haven't triggered it yet. Essentially, up here, I don't reset it. That's the big difference. I just set it to 6. The 6 triggers this, which clears that. Easy fix, I can either obviously adjust every single one of them. Not going to happen. I'm just going to adjust each of these. So they have a chain command block feeds into it that just resets the score. Don't you just love it when you have two ideas for something and then you start building it both ways for some weird reason? No, just me. So basically, the way the system works is it ends by adding a score to the different rooms. So we've got easy, hard, medium, and then that triggers the mechanism that actually builds a room. The problem is, this isn't right. So adding was the wrong choice. Obviously, I'm not going to change this whole column because I'd actually have to delete the blocks in the middle to get to the ones at the very back. So we had to come up with sort of a different patchwork. And, well, it's simple. I reset the scoreboard up here after the room is built. So the way it works is it goes through 1 to 6 and then builds different segments. That way it doesn't do too much at once. That's the easiest way to put it up. So for instance, this has B easy equals 1, and that puts in redstone on these first 4, and then that triggers the next one, which puts the score to 2, and so forth and so on. The issue was the score usually ends on 6. Not that one. Where is it? This one. So we set it to 6. So then this next time I don't know how to put it into words. Next time this giant cube triggers, it adds to that score rather than resetting it back to 1 to trigger the room to build. So hopefully that fixes that. The other issue was, for whatever reason, we're getting -3 straight away. So I don't know if this, for whatever reason, is able to trigger multiple blocks in a single tick. So I have tried changing this. This was originally 2 different blocks, and that should cause a tick delay because this updates the middle with redstone, then this updates, and then this goes. So that's 3 ticks, 1 in between. Hopefully this should make it all happen in 1 tick, and therefore only one of these can trigger. And that probably sounds like gibberish, so I don't know, best way to show it is to test it. Well, here goes nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it counted up, which was nice. I don't know why it cleared. That's a bit worrisome. And also our level went to 7, which is also slightly wrong. But we'll start off with this. So in the right spot, that's good. Game mode creative, so we can poke around. We've got a decent amount of generation in the first room, but it does not look like we have any more rooms. Yeah, worrisome. So it should be placing arm stands around this position. And my worry is that we're not loading this chunk correctly, which I don't know how that could be the case. So for instance, if we turn on the borders, we load these 3 chunks that make up the initial room, and then we should load 3 chunks in every direction. So really, it should be a 9x9 cube rather than 3x3. So for instance, this chunk that we're in right now should be loaded. If we query it, right? Okay, well that's good. We have all the chunks loaded, for whatever reason. Ton. I'm going to count this out because this is actually important. Okay, so slight worry so far. This should be 81 chunks, right? 9x9 is 81. It's more than 81. I don't know why it's loaded so many chunks. So, on the plus side, surprisingly, the lag, these giant red bars here, isn't too bad. Because baseline, we're running at about 36 as a command world so far. And so it's only adding about 6 units, which isn't horrible, considering we're loading upwards of 100 chunks here in the nether, so they all can obviously generate mobs, they all update lighting, yada yada yada. So that's a good sign that the world can actually handle this generation. The conundrum we're running into is still not generating any other rooms. It's minusing the experience, it's counting correctly, but it's not generating anything. Annoyingly, I think this middle segment is still the issue, which means we're going to have to delete it all and replace it. But I guess I can show a little trick I use. So, for instance, say this command, scoreboard, add, yada yada yada. If we go ahead and come over here, we can create a auto command block for us. So what this does is we can put the command in right here. We can go ahead and give ourselves one of these, and if I put it down, you can see it automatically turns into a repeating command block, sorry, a chain command block, wrong one, with conditional, always active, and our command in place. So this is sort of a trick I use to build instantly. The full command is that. If you're interested, you just have to toggle auto. Sorry, not this one, you need to toggle here. So you can change it to any command block you want. Conditional, facing, what direction, and then here auto 1 is redstone not needed, so always active, or if you change that to 0, redstone's needed, and then insert your command right here. Yeah, so I'm going to rework this whole middle layer. Right, I don't want to delete too much. Yeah. And we'll try again. I'm also really curious why it reset the dungeon. Because for instance, this whole cleanup mechanism shouldn't trigger until this triggers. So score dungeon AFK has to be greater than 15, and these should be gated at only giving it +1. Yeah, well, oh, you know what? Probably need to check those scores. They should have been reset, but you never know. Dungeon AFK, yeah, 0, timer, 0, okay. So they're both fine. Change it back, we'll keep it on the build. Okay. Okay. Let's go do it like a band-aid. God, I'm just so worried about accidentally deleting the wrong command block. Just one misclick, and then the whole system. Well, not the whole. Well, I thought that was an empty space for a second because of the particles. Not the whole system, just obviously a level, and then me figuring out which command goes in there. Fun, fun, fun. I think we can reach everywhere, but like this, no, the center. Still an issue. Anyway. Right, lucky last. So I tried to tackle the other issue at the same time. So why did the build checker reset? The only command blocks that are doing that are either this, which sets it back to 1, so that can't be it, or the one down here. But why would this be triggered? So what do we have? Execute at arm stance or random, run fill, so that's cleanup. That deletes the arm stand once it's been cleaned up. So this one does that, deletes any items. Yeah, any dropped items. And then this one removes all the chunks that are loaded. Should be fine. In fact, you can technically do that before you delete the arm stands. Is that necessary? No, it shouldn't really matter. Actually, it does really, because this is execute unless entity arm stand. Unless entity arm stand. Right, okay, no, I've done it right. This deletes any arm stand that exists just in air, so there's no blocks, so there's no walls or structures around it. And then the other command will only remove all the chunks once all the arm stands are done for. So that should be fine. Well, I guess we just test again. Okay, so we need to watch, make sure that goes, and the scoreboard on our little sidebar, make sure that counts up as well. 1, perfect, room, goes straight to 3, that's already an issue, and then it's stopped. That's worrisome. Why is it worse than previous? 7, so that's fine. Scoreboard, objectives, display, sidebar, be easy is the one we're curious about. 6, it's seeing at 6, that's fine. You know what if we trigger this manually? We go back to creative. So we're at build check 3, wasn't it? So if I trigger the one that's for build check 4, This is 2, 3, which makes you 4. So if I trigger you... No, sorry, we're at build check 3. Trigger you. That didn't work either. According to my time, that is correct. But it did not set Be Easy back to 1. Why? I did not set Be Easy back to 1. Oh, I have to go digging. So annoying. Right, luckily the command chain is nice and center here, so I didn't have to do too much destruction. Okay. Some new armor stand, so that worked. It force-loaded the chunks, that worked. We're just looking for 53 as the correct timer. Gave us 1 extra build check. It's... I know it's scoreboard objective. Dungeon time. Ooh. No. I'm sure you all can... You can tell why I'm griping, because obviously yeah. Another row. At least we know the issue. Right, get our auto command block. Definitely fix this. Dungeon. Nope, but not with capitals. That is spelled right, yeah? Easiest way to check. We got it. Dungeon. G-O-N timer. Perfect. Just have to redo the layer. Oh, what fun it is to delete so carefully. I should really not do this haphazardly. I'm getting a bit irritated. I don't like doing repetitive tasks over and over again. And lucky last. Okay, so that's done. And while I was doing it, I had some time to think. And I sort of understand why this mechanism down here is not triggering properly. So sometimes it counts in multiples rather than going up 1 each time. So every time this sort of gets filled in with redstone, it should only count once and -1 experience. As we were sort of watching, it jumps straight to 3 and minuses 3 experience. And the reason for that is when you use a fill command, Minecraft fills in a set order. So whatever you set the first coordinates to the last coordinates, it's still, even though it's meant to be done quote unquote in a single tick, it still fills it in 1 by 1 in terms of the game updating. So it's actually quite interesting to me because it means that even in terms of ticks, there's another unit of measurement that's sort of being run or prioritized within a single tick. But anyway, in terms of this, what's happening is, say I have 2 command blocks. We'll do a segment of 3. So I've got 3 command blocks like this. This command block is meant to run after this command block, and so forth and so on around in a circle. What's happening is because it's filling in that pattern, so, you know, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and like that, if this command block is set to run after these command blocks, then they get triggered together, which is what's happening, because this central one and then this one is set to run after it, but they're getting filled in one after the other. Essentially, I have to time gate all the command blocks. Ooh, so we've got the clear mechanism set to 9, the command blocks themselves will have to be set to 8, and then this build will need to be set to 7. Right, so if we do that, I do need the comma, and then this needs to be 7. Easy peasy. Obviously, I have to edit. If you're wondering how many there are, there's 169 command blocks per layer. Oh, wow. You know what the funnest part of this is? So obviously you can use home to go straight to the start, and home is my pause and unpause key. So I've been going on and off for 10 minutes now. That's going to be fun to edit. Right, any guesses if it's going to work properly this time? We'll check 1. Pulls up. It jumped 3 and it did not clear. So that's a nope. It didn't quite work. Okay, so this should do it. If I set this to repeating, it should now be able to loop properly. Ooh, fingers crossed. Might as well hop into survival. 10 experience. Plus the key, 9. Ooh, still jumped to 3. Ooh, but we got to 4. 5. 6. 7. Okay. Fine. It's progress. We're all the way to 7. Do we have a dungeon? You know what? The easiest way to check. Oh, where's the door? Yeah, there should be a door. That goes nowhere. That goes nowhere. One of these got to go somewhere. Come on. Come on. Come on, where's the door? This is the door. Why? The door did not delete. Oh, so close. So close. Okay, but we built it. Yeah, so it extends. It's great to see. But I've messed up the door connections. And we also got stuck at 7. Okay. Progress at last, though. Okay, so the corridor issue is simple enough to fix. So, on all my testing, I was essentially building everything in tandem, and that was the hassle. Because the way I have it set to do corridors is it places barrier blocks in, and then it clears them with air blocks. And this creates, you know, pockets only where there are no walls that overlap, because this only replaces air, so it can't replace barrier blocks. Essentially, all I have to do is exclude this command that replaces the barrier blocks with air until the very end of the generation, and that way it clears all the barrier blocks at once. Ah, fun. I don't know how it's going to go well, though, because it's going to be targeting up to 169 armor stands running this command, which is almost the maximum fill size as well. There might be a better way to do this. I might have to use 4 and make it this distinct region. I don't know, I'm going to give it some thought. It should be simple enough, though, to fix. Behold. The beauty. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well. Interesting. Oh. Very interesting. The boss room too. Okay, and I forgot I am not in creative. Neat. Oh, I love when things are working. They're all the same room. But there is multiple rooms, and they're all connected, and this dungeon is massive. Okay, the counting is still an issue, obviously. Them being the same room, that is also fixable. I just need to limit it to 1. Wow. So neat. Slight differences. It's in this room. From boss? No, same boss. Same boss. Loot chests. Fantastic. Okay. Still a few bugs to work out. Some design choices as well that are a bit interesting. But it's looking good. I feel like I tried to place these with the roses. Oh no, but they can. I don't know why there's like a line missing here. I don't know. The generation is, well, there'll be an issue for later. The simple fact that this is just... You have no idea how good this feels. The fact that this generation works. We have this huge-ass dungeon to explore. Granted, they're all the same room. We'll fix that probably in the next one. But just the fact that I can endlessly walk. The bosses do generate. The system for the bosses works, so it deletes the spawner after 1 spawns. Oh, this is just great. Now traders as well, yeah, perfect. Those special dungeon traders. You're suffocating, weren't you? Right, because there's 3 of them here, so that's why they're using the same ability. Oh, and there. destroying. I'm just sorry. I'm truly gobsmacked. Like I've been working on this for so long. I know it's going to generate now. Been working on this for so long, and just to see it all actually work is just awesome. Ah, so awesome. Anyway, we'll leave that there. See you in the next one. Yeah.